All right, welcome to Friday's DB2. Talked about QBs yesterday, running backs today. David Brem here with Daniel Butler as always. Butler, running back time. I think this one's going to get a little more mixed up than our quarterback one did. There was kind of a solid top in the quarterbacks, but I think we got some differences here.
Yeah, I don't think it's a clear cut, like, here's the top 8, 9 guys and who's the
Yeah.
10th sort of thing. I think it gets kind of muddy after the first couple, even because of
Mhm.
Cook's injury and Kamara not being as great. I think McCaffrey's probably safe in the top 2, but yeah, there's been a lot of there's always injuries
Yeah.
at the running back position, but I think that does kind of shake some stuff up a
Yeah.
little bit.
In running back, I really feel like after the top two, there's a lot of differing opinions on what goes on after two. So the two, McCaffrey or Henry, depending how you want to look at it. Assuming health for McCaffrey, I still like his involvement in the passing game enough to put him ahead of Henry. But let's be honest, if you have either one of those two guys, you're extraordinarily happy.
So, I agree though. I just want to mention real quick. If I knew that McCaffrey was going to be healthy, like come back and be healthy. Now, as we're doing this, he's had this injury. If you're watching this ahead of time and he's been back, I would put if assuming he's back,
Mhm.
100% back to where he was. He's number one for me ahead of Henry. But obviously, because we don't know that yet today, I'd rather have Henry. Because I
Yeah.
know how he's been. But yeah, it's 1-2. However
I
you
just
want to
went
rank
in
them.
assuming health on that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, either one of them with the workloads they get could go down again. Like that's a risk, a pretty big risk with both those guys just because of workload. But after that, I know we did a little bit of prep for the show. We try a little bit, and I know our threes. We right at three. We disagree. Um, I've got Eckler at three. I really like what he's been doing. He looks super talented. I know you're not like super low on him, but your three is not Eckler.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like super low on Eckler. Like he's not even in my top 3. He is in my top 4 though.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm a believer. When we'll see with Michael Thomas coming back, I'm still a believer in Alvin Kamara. I would if I was redrafting, I would put him at 3. I think. I think.
Yeah,
If I was right there, I'm a Cook owner, so obviously these guys I would take over if I could redraft. That's what this means. I would take these guys over Cook at this point because of the injury. But yeah, this is really tough. This like 3A and 3B. I'll put
yeah,
Kamara, Eckler at 4, but uh, obviously I'm not going to make a big argument about Eckler
no.
being at
Well,
3.
here's the thing, and spoiler alert, because we're not too. Kamara just makes my top 10. I know he had a good week last week. I just don't like what I've been seeing out of him this season. I mean he went 2 in at least one of my drafts. 2 overall. Like see people are super high on him. I just haven't been, and this isn't going out on a limb. Like he looked okay in week 3, but he has not looked like a top running back the rest of the season, and I just don't know in this offense. I don't feel like the passing attack is a threat, and I feel like people are going to really start focusing in on Kamara. They already kind of have. So I have Kamara at 10.
I mean, he was number 4 in week 5.
Yeah, I said he had a good week. I said he had
And
a good
you
last
like
week.
what they did, right? Like how are they doing this year? He is currently number 10. So I guess that I mean he with this past week he is now at running back 10 with I think he had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So
I mean, I obviously like his talent. I just don't know that this offense, like I said, I think defenses are going to be able to key in on Kamara because I don't believe in this passing attack at all. So
we'll see. I like Kamara. I'm a fan,
yeah,
so you hate him,
yeah,
so it's fine. All right.
yeah. We'll go all the way to hate. And my 4, I know you said your 4 was Eckler. My 4 is Jones up there in Green Bay. We talked about it yesterday, and we're not ecstatic with Rodgers' play, but Jones is. I'm extraordinarily high on him. I think he's going to do very, very well continuing the rest of the season, and he's just kind of a guy that he feels very solid. I feel like he's probably never going to have like the humongous weeks, but he's also never. I feel like I never am worried that he's going to get me nothing.
And he did
if
have
I'm
that
in a Jones owner.
crazy good week. I think he like
Yeah.
was like receiving all the touchdowns. It wasn't even rushing. I just remember I faced Rogers and Jones, I think it was, and it's like he just kept throwing him the touchdowns. It wasn't. I'm gonna get that here. He was.
Yeah.
I know he's running back.
Week 2. It was right after that, like when they had that really bad week,
Yeah. So
and they
yeah,
kind of went off.
then he had that crazy good day. His schedule, I don't have it in front of me, but I know it's they have a pretty tough schedule. That's the worry
They do.
there. But
Yeah.
I would put him at 5. So it's not like I like Aaron Jones. I think the offense runs best through Aaron Jones. Which is why we're both low on Aaron Rodgers. Not
Yeah.
that I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a top quarterback. I just think the offense is best when Aaron Jones is going through Aaron Jones.
So really, the difference so far has been I pulled Kamara out of this equation, and you've pushed everybody back because of that. I'm honestly, I haven't seen your list, so I don't know if this continues, but I got Cook after Jones. The
I
injury concerns me, but not enough to pull him out of the top 5.
Yeah, so there's 3 guys right now, and as crazy as it sounds, I don't think Cook is one of those 3. I'm a Cook owner, so maybe I've just been, I'm a little more nervous about it. But I will go Elliott here at 6.
Okay.
He's been great. People worried about Pollard, but I saw one blitz come off the edge and Pollard didn't pick it up. Again, it's just one of those things that Zeke is so good in pass protection. And he's been obviously great running. Like he's, people are worried about him, and then he's having these huge fantasy days. So, don't worry about Pollard. Pollard's still a flex play, but Zeke is to me number 6. If you want to argue 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, I think that's fair.
Yeah. I think we're kind of to that tier where the guys are kind of lumped up.
See, I think the top 5 are tier 1 to me. Well, there's like an S, like with McCaffrey and Henry, and then so we'll say this is a tier 2. I have Kamara, Jones, Eckler. Obviously, don't have Kamara there, but those are and then a drop.
Yeah, and I would say Eckler, Jones, and almost Cook, kind of there. I have Harris after that at 6 on mine. I don't know where he lands on yours. The biggest threat in that offense, playing very well. I mean, there's not much to say. He was drafted pretty high. He's kind of lived up to what we expected for the most part.
Yeah, I like him, and I like him so much that I have him at 7. He's been really involved in the passing game. I think with Juju going down, though, it is unfortunate. I think it just clears the way for all the pass catchers. Najee Harris being one of those. He's been quite a pivotal part of that. So I have him at 7. Yeah. I do have a surprise name at 8, but I'll let you get to 7.
Yeah, because my surprise comes at 7, and this is a guy I love, and he on the season he is. I had this pulled up, and then I switched it over to quarterbacks. James Robinson. I honestly think this could be almost like I think he could work his way past Harris, and that I love this guy's talent. We talked about the Jags in the QB episode. I do not believe in the passing attack at all. I love James Robinson. Love him. I've got him at 7. He is 10 on the year in PPR. They're like cumulative rankings I'm looking at. But I could not be higher on this guy. I am super excited to see what he does for the rest of the season.
So you're saying there's no smaller number than 7? Is that what you're saying?
You know what I mean? Okay, his name it's James Robinson. Like I'm not like compared to what everybody else.
I cannot be higher than on James Robinson.
Oh, okay.
He's number 7.
Okay, you know what?
No, but honestly, like no one.
I know the show was your right.
No one's gonna have beyond 7. I know what you're saying. I just thought it was funny because.
No, I know. You asked me to do the show.
I could not be more confident. I'm 90% confident in having.
You know what?
Okay. All right. So James Robinson. One thing about him is he's quite involved in the pass game. I know you said you don't like Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback, but he does get him the ball. He's one of those good pass catchers. So again, he's number 11 points per game wise. So I think you said 10 total. So he's top 10 guy. He's probably just outside my top 10. Spoilers, but I think 7 is a little crazy, not going to lie. But my number 8, not as crazy, I don't think, but still, maybe because we still haven't heard Dalvin Cook name, I'm going to say DeAndre Swift. I've been pretty. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't sure. I do own him because he fell so far, but I was not sure. But he has been so good. Yeah. And again, because I'm an owner, I've just been pleasantly surprised. Maybe that's part of it. If I own Cook and Swift, those are my 2 running backs. So, like, those are the guys I've been playing. So, thankfully, I have Madison, so I'm not really upset about the Cook stuff. But, yeah, I own him. So, I'm just like, he's been incredible, way above. If you redrafted him, he was taken at running back 18-ish. If you redrafted, he's clearly well above that. I personally think how involved he is in the passing game. We have to mention, of course, Jared Goff and how well he does at getting the ball to his running back. Big Jared Goff fan. No. But yeah, we have to mention that because he does get the ball. Well, I think we have to mention it to the running back quite well. I think he's like 2nd in receiving yards, only behind Patterson at running back. So it's like, which we haven't talked about Patterson yet, but that's a name that definitely needs to be discussed.
That's
maybe soon. But DeAndre Swift at number 8 for me. He's so involved in the passing game. I don't love the Detroit offense, but point per reception, he's getting a lot of receptions. He's 65, 35, 70, 30 split with Jamal Williams. So I like that. And because it's just a very fantasy-friendly offense, even if it's not a great offense for running backs.
I've got him just outside my top 10. He's been great, and he's going to be super solid the rest of the season. Like he's not. If you've got Swift, you're very happy, and you're going to continue to be that way the rest of the season. I'm going to try not to get mad at you for stealing my thunder. For I have Zeke at 8, so we already kind of touched on him. My 9 is Cordell Patterson. I love what he's been doing. I love that in my CBS league he's eligible at 2 positions. That doesn't hurt. I think he continues to be the biggest part of this offense. I love how there's a couple different ways to get him the ball, and he's doing both of them at a fairly good clip. I'm not super excited with the play of Matt Ryan, but he is solid enough to get Cordell the ball. And I don't know. I just think you don't get that kind of value out of running back much. Like there are running backs who catch well. And then there's Cordell Patterson, who's basically a wide receiver who happens to be playing running back. I think it's such a big advantage you can have in a passing league, in a fantasy situation, to have a running back that is that involved in the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, I keep expecting it to kind of fall off a little bit. Like, just a little bit. I'm like, this is insane because obviously he was not on anybody's radar. I mean, he was drafted as like, I don't know, maybe not even drafted, obviously. He was way down the list. So it's kind of wild. I definitely think you have to be in consideration for top 10. He's currently running back 3. So that's pretty impressive. Averaging over 20 points per game. On a points per game basis, yeah, he's running back 3. So he's been incredible. I definitely... There's just it's so hard when you get here. It's like, who do you leave out? And he might be just a little bit outside, but he has been so good. It's hard to argue that production. And why can't it continue when he has 25 catches for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns? You know, like for a running back, and then also obviously he's running as well. He's not getting as much rushing as a lot of these guys. He's kind of like Swift, and you could argue if you look at Swift and Patterson, like they're kind of similar. They don't have in a way, they're not similar as running backs really, but kind of what they have done so far. Their rushing is quite similar, and their receiving is very similar. And Patterson's had more touchdowns, and that's really the difference between being number 3 and number 8. But I really like Patterson, and I think definitely make the case that he should be top 10. So no arguments there. Now my 9, this is when I bring in Dalvin Cook. So it's not probably crazy to have Dalvin Cook, at 6, 7, 8, probably 9. I don't think this is too crazy, but I'm just he was out and then he came back, but he wasn't great, and then he left. I'm just worried that if I had him, which I do, so it's not if, I think all these guys I had above him, again, I probably I'll try to trade him for one of these guys above him that I have above him. that sounds crazy. I own Swift, so that's not saying anything. But if it was for Harris or Zeke, these couple guys that maybe other people would not have over him, I personally will, just because of the safety that I find that those other running backs have. I also had Madison, so like that kind of helps.
Yeah.
They might be like, "Hey, can I get Madison too?" And I'm like, I'm probably not going that far. But yeah, the fact that I have Cook and Madison, that combo, I think is like top 5 for me. But hopefully we get some heads up before the game. Like if one of them's if like Cook's not going to play, if there's a time if Cook's kind of banged up and he's playing a little bit, that's not fun. So it's tough. That's why I have him so low and why I have him at running back 9. But I it's just really when he's healthy, he was drafted as running back 2. So
Yeah.
I drafted him as running back 2. He is probably, if healthy and you knew he was healthy the rest of the season, probably 3 or 4 or so, because I think Henry and McCaffrey are probably 1, 2 now. I think Henry is, even if you knew Cook was going to be healthy rest of the season, I don't see how you put him over Henry. So with how Henry's playing, so I'd probably put him at 3, 4 if I knew he was going to be healthy, but we don't know that, so I haven't now.
Yeah. I will say, like, I have Cook higher. I have him at 5. That doesn't mean I'm not concerned. I'm concerned about 2 things: A, the health, and B, that we've seen how well Madison's been doing, and could he take snaps even when Cook is healthy? Like, that concerns me. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'd be lying to you if the thought hadn't crossed my mind that maybe his workload's going to go down the rest of the season. So I don't hate moving him down the list a little bit.
Yeah. So have you give your
my last one's Kamara. We've kind of touched on it. My number 10 is Kamara.
Yeah. So names that you have left off, and I have as far as so far now, because we've pretty much covered everybody. All the names we've at least discussed. Nick Chubb, not in your top 10.
I think him. My thing is, I think they're both right outside.
Jonathan
I think
Taylor,
they end up very close.
not top 10. Also has been great. Also has a good schedule rest of the season. Playing in the AFC South. If you play in the AFC South, you got a good schedule rest of the season. If you're a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, great schedule. Most likely, because it's so bad. Joe Mixon, according to this, he's running back 12 rest of the season. I would have him much lower just because of his injuries, and I like him, but there's a lot of guys I would rather have over him. Antonio Gibson, another guy I like him, but there's just you're only gonna have 10. Robinson, which you talked about. Kareem Hunt has been fantastic, but he's going to be outside of my top 10. A name, he is currently running back 13, which is tied with Nick Chubb. All right, running back 13. Daryl Henderson. Now, hear me out. He's well above. If you drafted him, you're feeling great, obviously. But this schedule.
Did draft him. Do feel great.
This schedule that he has, as well as how he's playing, he's currently running back 13, so it's not like he's that far outside top 10. So he's shown how well he's able to produce in this offense. I like him. He's got 10 catches, which is not a whole lot for running backs on 90 yards, but he also has 300 yards. Is that what I'm looking at? 300 yards rushing. Not terrible with all those touchdowns as well. All those touchdowns. He has 3 touchdowns. Overall, been solid. 16.6 points a game. Now, one thing I like about him is obviously the Rams offense. I love the Rams offense.
We know.
I've been super high on it. All the Rams. I've talked about Van Jefferson. How I feel about him. Robert Woods. I drafted him. I love him. If I could do it over again, I would have clearly drafted Cooper Kupp, but I love Cooper Kupp. Higbee. I like him. Matthew Stafford. Love him. My favorite quarterback part of the NFL. So I'm a big Rams fan, okay? I'm not really a Rams fan, but I kind of am, I feel like. How did I become a Rams fan? I love the offense overall. Now, here's their schedule, all right? Listen up. All right, they just played, they're playing the Giants in week 6. How we feeling on the Giants? Feel pretty good about that. Then they got the Lions. All right, just listen. Okay, so we got Giants, Lions, week 8, Texans.
You love that.
So, if you haven't figured it out yet, based on week 8, that means they're facing the AFC South. I am really low on the AFC South. Week 9, Tennessee. So again, you get the next 4 weeks are just like the best schedule you could possibly have. And then they got San Francisco. You don't love that. The bye week, You don't love that. He's probably not going to
Not
get you a lot of points.
not ideal.
But then you got Green Bay. Don't really hate that. Jacksonville, Arizona. Again, not bad. Seattle. It's good. So not until week 16 you get Minnesota. You got Baltimore the last couple of games. You don't love him probably for your playoffs. But these games could be really, really important. So depending on where these... You really don't... When you get that late in the season, I'm not sure. I expect Baltimore to be there. I expect the Rams, obviously, to be in contention. I'm not sure with Minnesota, so that Week 16 game, we'll see. That might not be that difficult of a game anyway. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, the rest of the schedule, I don't absolutely love the last couple weeks, but I really like the next 5-6 weeks. So I think because he has such a good schedule, because I think the Rams are so good, there could be a lot of Henderson, and that could lead him to be a top 10 running back. I love Chubb. I love Hunt. I love Taylor. You want to say something?
Nope.
I really like these guys, but I'm going to put Daryl Henderson. I like the schedule. Plus, another guy I've just been so pleasantly surprised with that I'm willing to go out on a limb saying that. And I just now thought, would I trade? Because, again, I have him as 10 for any of those guys below. I have to say yes.
This game.
I have to say yes. But Patterson as well, which I didn't mention, like he's probably 11 or 12. Patterson's been fantastic. I have to say yes, but it is super difficult when you're talking about one spot because you really got to go out. I mean, it's easy to say I'd trade, my 5th guy for my 10th.
It's
10th
tough
guy.
to have the stones, though.
But to actually pull the trigger on a Henderson for a Patterson, well, Patterson, maybe that's not as difficult because depending on how high people are on that. But for Chubb or, Taylor, that could be tough. But I'm saying it. I think he's going to be a top 10 back. He's been a very pleasant surprise. So
yeah, he's one of my guys. I mean, I've definitely got him in the top 15. We kind of stopped at 10 because you got to stop at some point, or you'll just spend hours of your life.
Top 60 running backs.
But let's put it this way: I like him, and I hope you're right as an owner. I hope he continues to just kind of tear it up. So, anybody else you want to mention before I wrap this thing up?
No. So yeah, good news is I've never been wrong. So just bet on it. It's going to happen.
Just every time, 100%.
I talked about Van Jefferson, and he went off. I'm just saying, before anybody was talking about him. You don't look at any other names.
Right, exactly.
But Van Jefferson, maybe not bad.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys stopping by. If you made it this far, thank you. It means a lot to us. Hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe. 5 days a week, kind of pretty standard. Tuesday, Wednesday, injuries, waiver, cover all the games. The rest of the week, we kind of just figure out what's going on that week and what we want to talk about. So we appreciate you coming by, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Again, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are more traditional. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you want to see something, leave a comment. We'll do, I don't know. We'll just see whatever we're feeling. So thank you so much. You guys are great. And yeah, that's all we got. See ya.
Yep.